Great to see you, James.
Yeah,
How are you?
Thanks for having me along.
Are you busy, aren't you?
A little bit.
Good. Okay, why don't you take a seat?
Go on then.
James Blunt, great to meet you.
Yeah, you too.
It really is 5 minutes, so we've got to squeeze the whole James Blunt experience into 5 minutes.
Okay, then just crack on.
Are you ready?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, time starts now. You were in the British Army for 6 years before you became a professional singer.
Yeah.
Is it true that you were the first British officer to enter Pristina in Kosovo during the crisis in '99?
I was of conventional troops. You never quite know what the special forces might be doing along the way. But I worked as a reconnaissance officer on the border of Macedonia and Kosovo itself during the bombing campaign. And then, being in reconnaissance, I then led the troops up through the different places till we got to Pristina itself. A kind of column of 30,000 people, the Brits leading, Americans in the rear, and it was an amazing spectacle, really.
Was it scary?
We were doing a very direct job. It dealt with life and death, but at the same time you've got a lot of people watching, a lot of people dependent on you, and there's really no time for fear. You just crack on with it.
What do you make of the situation in Afghanistan at the moment? Do you think that British troops should be withdrawn?
I think it's a really complex situation in Afghanistan. I think there seemed to be a reason to go there in the first place, and that was Al-Qaeda being supported by the Taliban, and so that seemed a reason to go there. And I think once we've gone there, we should probably try and do the job. An incredibly tough one, and I think the Russians have already shown us that it's a tough job, and I think we were perhaps incredibly foolish to suddenly spread our resources and head off to Iraq on the basis of something that was contrived by governments that wanted us to go there and justify it with weapons of mass destruction that simply didn't exist.
Do you get the feeling from your own experiences in the army, and obviously you haven't been part of the army for some time, but do you get the feeling that the British Army is well enough equipped to do its job?
I think we can definitely be better equipped in the army. There's no doubt about that. Looking at other armies, the American army has better equipment, and they pour more funds into it. That's really evident with shortages, and we've read about in the newspapers. I'm also part of Help for Heroes, a patron to that, and that's also the money that we then don't pour into looking after our injured soldiers as well, and to come back from a war that we've sent them to. We chose the politicians, we voted in those politicians, we sent them there, and then they come back and they're not looked after medically is unfathomable, really. And so, overall, I think we absolutely should try and fund them better.
You've done quite a bit of charity work. You've done some work with Médecins Sans Frontières. Tell me how you got involved in that.
Yeah, it was the same time in Kosovo, and I saw Médecins Sans Frontières working there. We thought we were doing, a tough job, but at least we had, armour and weapons for our own security. But you'd come around the corner and you'd see these doctors and nurses giving basic medical care and attention to civilians, the civilians who are suffering as the consequence of the war or any natural disaster as well. And I was blown away by this organisation. Obviously, the money got to the front line with them, so really effective, and they did such a selfless job in the process, really special, and I've really enjoyed supporting them since then.
Just under 2 minutes to go. Did you take a guitar with you to Kosovo?
I did. As a soldier, you take away your uniform and you are a human and you have hobbies like anyone else might. And so, I took a guitar where some people would have taken a football.
Now, you've reached #1 in the US with your hit song, You're Beautiful. Is that what you're most proud of in your life?
No, I don't think charts are, necessarily the thing that one should, see as a goal. For me, musically, the greatest accomplishment really is making 2 albums that I love, and I get great pleasure from it. And then even beyond that, to go on something like a world tour is fantastic.
Is that what you're up to at the moment?
Yeah, I started on the 5th of January. I finished in March 2009 with the All the Lost Souls world tour. I'm sleeping on a bus, but it's been an amazing job of doing music every single day.
Isn't it incredibly exhausting as well as exhilarating?
It's quite a smelly affair. I'm sleeping in a bunk with 10 men in the same bus in bunks, and we look for a shower every day. But as I say, it's the nitty-gritty job, and it's connecting with thousands of people. It doesn't matter what age, or sex, or race, or religion around the world.
A minute ago, when did you choose to live in Ibiza, and why?
I didn't have much time, really, in between my tours. I got 2 weeks off a year, and so if you only have 2 weeks off, you might as well take it in the summer and take it in a holiday place, and so I chose a holiday house, but it's a really inspirational place. I have a piano and a guitar there, and that's where I wrote All the Lost Souls.
Have you suffered in any way, do you think, from being a public schoolboy?
I learned to enjoy the beatings.
What's a good night out now for James Blunt?
Pretty much every night after a show, we hit the town, hit a bar with a band, or here in London, go out with my mates. A pub or a bar will do me.
Obviously, you don't spend much time here, but what would you like to change about Britain or British life?
Maybe that the alcohol was free.
Okay. Are you happy?
I'm very happy.
What makes you cross in life?
Closing time.
And what is your biggest single ambition left?
To get to the bar before it's closed, immediately after the show that we're doing tonight.
Time is up. Great to meet you.
Cheers.